I've come to like a plateau.
Mm.
Like I felt like it was such like a big uphill climb to get to this place, just energetically, like all the momentum moving me forward, and I just felt like I was in such a vortex, and then now I'm like just coasting, and like that there's a beauty in that too, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that I see that as a very healthy natural, like you're saying, the natural coasting. If I was doing a hike and I was going straight up, I would probably be very blessed by the plateau. I'm like, oh, okay, good. This is, I can chill. I don't have to work as hard. I'll enjoy this new plateau that I've never been to before.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll give me a perspective of which hill do I want to climb next.
And that I think maybe that's where I'm at. Is like, yeah, what hill do I want to climb right now? Okay, so recently, like, I've been putting more content out there, like from this self-expressed place where I feel like, oh, I'm getting in touch with like this inner wise woman in me that's wanting to like share a voice that is physically a little lower pitched, a little more grounded, a lot grounded, not just a little, and this sense of like really embodying my sensuality, and it's coming out in like almost like a small, like a baby snake that's like it's just learning its potency, and so it's coming out like maybe overtly sexual, when really I'm trying to bring it into the more like depth, artistic, like sensual, which is I see very different.
Where do you get the idea that it's overtly sexual and that's not sensual?
Well, it is sensual, right? But
Did you say you see them as different things?
I see the goal of allowing this to develop in me in a more artistic, sensual way. Being, there's sexuality in that, of course, because sensual and sexual is very similar. But when it's pure, like, so there's 2 videos. Let's get like down to the actual like thing. 2 videos I made recently. One where I'm like in the mud.
Okay.
And that it felt artistic and primal and like. And beautiful in that way that I was like embodying, and then I wanted to replicate that in a way and maybe even go deeper on something, and I ended up making a beach one that kind of turned into like a soft porn, and that one was like meant to be artistic and beautiful and kind of was just sexual.
But who says?
Maybe me when I'm judging it.
Okay, so I'm just wondering.
And my mom.
And your mom. Okay, well. I don't blame your mom, and I like, I could just make the same judgment, but I think the judgment that counts is what you're making, and even the idea that you're fragmenting sexuality versus sensuality and that they're so different. Like, what if this journey that you're on is to show you that that you being sexy is sensual, and that you being sensual is sexy, and that the situation is arising when you're thinking they're different.
Recently, I've really only been pursuing sexual relationship, not heartfelt. Like, heartfelt feels closed. Like, I feel like that little area is kind of just like, whoop. But the sexual part is like, oh yeah, like let's like explore. So that feels imbalanced to me on the next.
Yeah, and I also think that like you are the one, like you're so if you're going into the thought of like, oh, now I'm just doing this sexy beach video, it might just come out being sexy. And like it might, what looks not only for you just kind of exploring sexuality, like maybe for your mom too, maybe for other people as well. But imagine if you like went into, like if you thought that beach shoot was very sensual. For some reason it seems like you've classified the mud as like primal and artistic, and like the beach is kind of like exploiting sexuality. And I think since that is your perspective, that's maybe how other people are going to take it.
Yeah, that's very possible. And it wasn't my perspective when I was doing it. And when I was doing it, I just felt like I was so embodied, and this energy, this primal energy was moving through me. And then after I edited it and posted it and started getting feedback, then I started judging it.
Yeah.
Like, but before that...
Well, and that's the thing. Maybe like when you can really not only accept, but like embrace that part of sensuality, aka sexiness. I mean, maybe sensuality includes sexiness. Does it not?
Right. Yeah.
It does, right?
It does.
From your perspective, doesn't sensuality include sexuality?
Definitely.
Does sexuality include sensuality?
Yes. Okay.
Because at first it sounded like they were very different. Like you almost sound like you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, it feels like they're both intertwined. But if I were to, and when we started talking, it does seem to me like even just comparing those 2 videos, that one is more artistic, and maybe when I think of sensuality, I think of artistry. that goes beyond just igniting like a sexual response, and actually maybe ignites like a deeper emotional like response.
So yeah, these are all like my issue. My what I'm seeing for you is you have like, it seems like a tier of classification. So you have like sensuality and emotional, like up here, and down here is like sexuality and hormones. Rather than, what if they're all on the same playing field, but they might be different. They might be a little different, but still the same playing field. It sounds like you have a tiered perspective, like that one's better than the other.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see why your mom thinks that.
Yeah.
But that's not, I don't think it's Davina's job to necessarily live up to my expectation about her sexuality, and I don't think it's your job to live up to your mom's expectation about sexuality, because I think parents are gonna be a little biased.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is my little girl, you know, if she grows up and I think she's like my little girl, which I don't even know if I feel resonant with calling her my little girl, but if that's how I took it, I mean, of course, if she's gonna start being sexual with other humans, I'm like, oh no, Jacqueline, that's so sexual. Why can't you be more sensual?
Yeah.
And then maybe you'll find out that this whole idea of sensuality versus sexuality was not even your idea originally.
Yeah, and maybe that's where it comes from too, is my mom. I mean, because of the judgments I have on her.
And it may not come from
sexuality.
your mom. It's probably when it came from someone, some like collective unconscious idea. Who knows when it started? But like, these ideas are not your mom's. These are not your ideas. These are both ideas that y'all explored. And maybe you're exploring about that video. You look at that video, or your mom looks at that video, and you call it sexy rather than sensual, rather than seeing both.
Yeah, and maybe it's interesting to me that I thought of my mom first. Like, that was the person that, like, it meant something to me that she said something, right? And that I probably judge her the most about her sexuality. You know, and like, maybe what I see as, like, a repression that I relate to.
I was scared. You mean, like, she might be repressing her sexuality because it's not fully sensual, potentially?
Right.
Like that, because that's, it's just, I imagine Hannah Montana and Beyonce had to both break through these so people could really find out who they are.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's kind of where I'm seeing the breakthrough. Like, I'm seeing something break up in me that's wanting to come out and be seen for who I am, rather than, you know, what I've been repressing.
I wonder if it sounds like you're like working your way up. Like, eventually you'll be doing videos like in the clouds, like with an angel outfit on. And you're like, finally, I'm sensual instead of that dirty, sexy stuff.
Yeah, I like that too. That could be a fun play. Like, that definitely feels like, yeah, like when you bring that up, it makes me laugh at myself a little bit. Like,
yeah, you could do a video where you show, like, I was telling the previous girl, like, why don't you do a video for every chakra? And she was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, well, why don't you express your sensuality in every chakra?
Ooh.
If the sexy root chakra and
Get to
the
know
crown chakra, where's the sensuality in that one?
Yeah, and like bringing it all the way up. That feels like a project. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I see like a more holistic expression and acceptance of your sexuality rather than like fragmenting it into a tiered, like, ladder kind of thing. It seems like you're looking at it as a ladder when it might be more of a horizontal thing.
Run, guan, guan, guan. Run, guan, guan, guan. Run, guan, guan, guan. Run, guan, guan, guan. Run, guan, guan, guan.